That's what we did last night. We received it's about 3 cord of wood that we had to put up. We aren't done yet. As you can see, there's a pile on the ground. It's Thursday the 27th, and we're on our way into Alsfeld because I have to go to the dentist. I have some minor oral surgery that has to be performed. I hope it's just a little a very short operation. The reason I wanted to make a video today was to tell you something interesting that happened. We have been, this Mercedes that I'm driving is I think it's 14 or 15 years old. I don't remember exactly how old it is, but anyway, it's old. It's an A-Class Mercedes, 190 model 190. That is, it's 1900cc engine, 5-speed standard transmission, and we've driven it 250,000 kilometers. It has needed a lot of work in the last year or 2 years, but until then it was really a very good car. We can't complain about it, and it's been worth repairing. We had some bearings put in the transmission a couple of 2 years ago, yes, and the usual things, alternator and generator, alternator and starter, which are very complicated, unfortunately. Both to change the alternator and the starter, you have to take the engine out, which means taking the transmission out. It's a very safe car. The engine is very low and so on. Long story anyway, we're going to try to drive this car for a while yet. We've got our mind set on a new Mercedes, not a new, but a newer model Mercedes. There's possibility here to buy them that have only a few thousand kilometers on them from much less than the new price, so we may do that. And but for the time being, we're going to go on driving this car. And we're not very happy with the service that the Mercedes dealer gave us. That's putting it very mildly. We were actually very unhappy with the service we got. And we started going to a private mechanic. He's a fully licensed mechanic with all of the equipment and everything. And he's related somehow. I say he, but actually it's a whole family. That's part of the problem. They're related somehow to Karin, and we thought it was a good idea to go to them and that we would get good treatment from them, which we did for a long time. But as it turns out, there are, I'm going to say complications. It's more like warfare in the family. And the mechanic that had been working on our car now has quit, and he started his own place or something, and it's further away. It's not a place we would go to, and his father wants to be retired, and the brother works somewhere else, and it's just not a good situation. But we've been going back there, and this last week, well, one of the things we do, we store our winter tires with them in the summer, and our summer tires with them in the winter, and they balance them and put the tires back on change the tires on the car. I don't do that kind of stuff anymore. With my arthritis, and I'm 75 years old, I don't really feel like doing that kind of work anymore. So they have been doing that. And 2 weeks ago, no, not even 2 weeks ago, no, last week, they took the summer tires off, put the winter tires on after balancing them, charged way too much, in my opinion, for storing and balancing 4 tires. $100 is really, to my way of thinking, is just way too much. Well, and it's $30 more than they charged last year, so it's obviously time to change workshops. And we were driving home from Alsfeld the other day, and the tailpipe fell down. So I got a bungee cord out of the back. That's the one thing that I have in the car is a bungee cord, and I normally use for holding a gas tank in the car when I go to get gas for our kitchen stove, propane. But I was able to bungee cord the tailpipe till we got home, and then I got some nice heavy steel wire, and I wired it up. It's a Magpie, and our friends the Bonats have another shop they go to with their cars. They have a number of cars, and they go to this guy, and they were very happy with him, so I decided to give him a try. And I drove over there yesterday morning to ask him if he could weld the bracket on the tailpipe, and he seemed very nice, very pleasant, and said he needed to go out and look at the car to see what exactly needed to be done. And as he was walking past the car, he stopped for a second, and he looked at me and said, "Do you realize your left front tire is going to blow out soon?" And I looked at him and I said, "What do you mean? I just had those put on." And he showed me then that there's a bubble in the sidewall. It's not real evident if you aren't looking for it, but he has a very trained eye apparently, because he saw it from a distance. The other man who had balanced the tires just last week did not see it. I know exactly when it happened, and I know that it happened last summer. So these tires had been stored. They had been taken off the car. They'd been stored, and then they were supposed to have been balanced, and the mechanic who did the balancing failed to notice that there is a bulge in the sidewall. So our new mechanic, who impressed me immediately because of that, our new mechanic said yes, he could weld he'd get a better bracket, something that was more stable, it wouldn't rust through as quickly as this one did, because this is, I think, the third time that this is rusted through. And he said he'd get the bracket and order a new tire for me. He's going to do that. He's going to put the tire on tomorrow and weld up the tailpipe tomorrow as well. But I just thought, here you make the effort to take your car to a shop where you think they're going to do things right. I mean, obviously you wouldn't take it there if you didn't think that. And find out that they didn't even pay enough attention to note that the tire was dangerously damaged. What had happened was, last summer I hit I was looking at the GPS or something while driving and hit an island in the road. I got out and looked at the car and looked at the tire and looked at the wheel. I thought I probably bent the wheel, and I told the mechanic, I said, look, I hit this thing, and he laughed and he said, oh, if you'd have done any damage, you'd know it by now. Well, that was not true. I know it now, yes, but I didn't after it happened, of course. So, just as a warning for everyone, I guess, it's probably a good idea if you have your tires done by someone else to take a good look at them yourself. Well, it's a week later. I don't know if this is recording or not, but I guess it is, yeah. It's a week later, and Hondo doesn't like it when I talk to the computer. I thought I would just finish this by telling you the rest of the story, which I didn't know at the time. I got the tire put on the car, and I got the muffler and the mechanic welded the muffler, the exhaust pipe back on. But when he put it up on the lift, he said, all 4 shock absorbers are completely covered in oil. They've leaked all of their oil out. So not only did the first mechanic miss the damaged tire, he also missed the fact that all of the shock absorbers were worn out, in spite of the fact that I had already told him the car is doesn't feel real stable. So, well, no use in being disappointed about it. It's just the kind of thing that happens, and at least we found out about it without any serious accident happening, and we'll have the shocks replaced now, and hopefully the car will serve us well the rest of the summer. Sorry this is so long and drawn out. I have a couple more little, I hope, short videos to put up, but I did want to share this story with you. So thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for your patience, and thanks for any comments, for subscribing. And I'm very tired, if you can't tell. It's about 10:30 at night, and I'm ready for bed. So thanks again. Bye.